Breaking news! The kind of move that shakes the entire NFL just happened in Baltimore, and it's got fans and analysts alike buzzing. Imagine this. A player once considered the best cornerback in football walks away from more money just to suit up in purple and black. It's bold, unexpected, and frankly, it changes everything for this defense. But before we move on, make sure you hit that like button if you're a true Ravens fan. It's always amazing to see fans of all ages supporting this team. And if you feel like it, comment, "Go Ravens," right now down below. Jaire Alexander has officially signed with the Baltimore Ravens on a one-year deal worth up to $6 million. And yes, you heard that right. He turned down more lucrative offers just to reunite with his former college teammate, Lamar Jackson. Eric DeCosta? He's cooking again. Folks, what seemed like a long shot just weeks ago has now become a reality. The Ravens landed their guy, and not just any guy. We're talking about a player who, only a few seasons ago, was hands down the best corner in the NFL. Let's break it down. The contract structure is at $4 million base with $2 million in incentives. That's an absolute bargain considering Alexander was set to make $17.5 million with the Packers before his release. And make no mistake, this move doesn't happen without Lamar Jackson. This is the kind of pull that a true franchise quarterback has. Lamar didn't just make a call, he made a statement. When asked about Alexander, Lamar told GM Eric DeCosta, "Go get him." And guess what? Eric got him. This isn't just about adding talent. It's about belief. It's about legacy. Jaire sees what we all see. The Baltimore Ravens are real contenders, and Lamar Jackson is the kind of leader you bet your career on. That kind of energy is contagious, and it's why this locker room continues to attract top-tier talent even when the dollar signs are bigger elsewhere. Now take a look at how this shifts the secondary. Before this move, the group was fine, not great, not terrible. Names like Nate Wiggins, Chidobe Awuzie, and Marlon Humphrey made for a decent core. But now, add Alexander to the mix, and suddenly the Ravens boast a cornerback room that looks lethal. Wiggins and Jaire manning the outside, with Humphrey sliding into the slot, where he thrives. And behind them, Kyle Hamilton, one of the league's most underrated safeties, paired with the electric rookie Malaki Starks. That's not just a solid defense, that's a no-fly zone. That's Legion of Boom Part 2 potential. But it's not just about depth or formations, it's about mentality. It's about swagger. And Alexander brings that in spades. The only real question mark here is health. Jaire has had an injury-riddled past. In 2021, he played just 4 games. In 2022, he was phenomenal, playing all 16. But the last 2 seasons, he's missed a combined 20 games. There were whispers in Green Bay about his toughness, about whether he could have pushed through injuries. That's the kind of talk that follows you until you prove the doubters wrong. But here's the truth. At $4 million, this is a low-risk, high-reward signing. If he stays healthy, Baltimore just stole a top-tier shutdown corner. If he misses time, you're not out big money, and you still have a stacked cornerback group with strong depth. Either way, the defense is in a much better place than it was 48 hours ago. Eric DeCosta didn't just add a player. He made a statement of intent. He's doubling down on Lamar Jackson. He's telling the league, this team isn't rebuilding, it's reloading. And if you're not taking the Ravens seriously by now, you're not paying attention. When a star player turns down more money just to be part of something special in Baltimore, that tells you everything you need to know about where this franchise is headed. And here's what I want to know from you. Was this move necessary for a Super Bowl run? Or would you have rolled with the original secondary lineup? How do you feel about Alexander's injury history? Let me know in the comments, and don't hold back. Let's continue, because here's where things get even more interesting, and perhaps even controversial. While the buzz around Jaire Alexander joining the Ravens has been mostly positive, it's impossible to ignore the elephant in the room: reliability. This is a franchise that has built its defensive identity on grit, availability, and next-man-up toughness. And yet, in signing Alexander, they're gambling on a player with a spotty health record and whispers about his resilience. Is that a risk you take when your window to win it all is now? Absolutely, because the upside outweighs the gamble by miles. Remember, we're not talking about a journeyman cornerback. We're talking about a former All-Pro who, at his peak, could erase an entire side of the field. His tape from 2022 proves it. He wasn't just good, he was elite. He blanketed top receivers, shut down elite route runners, and brought a fire to the field that Baltimore fans will love. And now, he's motivated. He knows the whispers. He's heard the talk. And nothing lights a fire under a competitor like being doubted. From a scheme perspective, this gives defensive coordinator Zach Orr a world of possibilities. He can be aggressive. He can press. He can disguise coverages with 2 elite outside corners. And Marlon Humphrey in the slot? That's a cheat code. Marlon's always been a versatile defender, but he's flat out dominant when he gets to work inside. Jair's presence unlocks that. And don't forget the safeties. Kyle Hamilton and Malachi Starks are as good a combination as you'll find. Hamilton's range and IQ make him the quarterback of the secondary, while Starks brings speed and ball-hawking instincts that will instantly translate at the NFL level. This secondary doesn't just match up, it intimidates. It dares quarterbacks to test them. But the real beauty of this move is what it signals to the rest of the roster, to the veterans, to the rookies, to every player in that building. It says, we're going for it. The front office isn't sitting back and hoping this team contends. They're actively pushing chips into the middle of the table. They believe in the window. They believe in Lamar Jackson. And now, so does Jair Alexander. And how about Lamar? Think about how much this says about his evolution, not just as a player, but as a leader. He's no longer just the electric quarterback who can change a game with his legs. He's the face of the franchise. He's the magnet. Guys want to play with him. They believe in him. This is what happens when a quarterback takes that next step, and Baltimore is reaping the rewards. Eric DeCosta deserves serious credit here. He's mastered the art of patience. He waited out the market, knew Alexander's price would drop, and struck when the time was right. That's elite front office work, and it's the kind of savvy move that separates good GMs from great ones. He saw a chance to turn a good defense into a potentially dominant one, and he took it. Of course, the season isn't played on paper. There are still questions. Will Jair stay healthy? Will he blend with the existing personalities on this defense? Can this revamped secondary hold up in January against the league's best quarterbacks? Time will tell. But one thing's for sure, the Ravens just gave themselves a much better shot. And while we're riding this wave of momentum, let's not overlook one of the most overlooked parts of this deal, what it does to the competitive edge in the AFC North. The division was already one of the most physical, tightly contested in the entire NFL, but this move might just tilt the balance of power. Because what's the one thing that Joe Burrow, Deshaun Watson, and whoever's lining up for Pittsburgh fear the most? It's not just pressure, it's lockdown coverage. It's taking away their favorite target. It's forcing them to hold the ball that half-second longer, which is all a defense like Baltimore's needs to make a play. With Jair Alexander and Nate Wiggins blanketing the boundaries, and Marlon Humphrey now free to become the full-time slot disruptor, quarterbacks are going to struggle to find rhythm. You can't game plan around that kind of coverage. And if the front seven does its job, which, let's be honest, with Roquan Smith leading that group, the Ravens will be in the backfield often. Turnovers, 3-and-outs, frustration. That's the recipe. And that's exactly what Baltimore's cooking up right now. But maybe the most underrated impact is how this deal elevates the confidence of the entire defense. Don't underestimate morale and identity in a locker room. When players see a front office investing in talent, especially proven veterans who still have plenty of gas in the tank, it sends a message: we believe this is the year. That kind of belief becomes contagious. It builds trust. It creates buy-in. Veterans see it. Rookies feel it. And the locker room tightens up with one goal in mind: February football. And let's not pretend this move exists in a vacuum either. It's part of a broader strategy we've seen all offseason from the Ravens, targeting culture fits, mentally tough players, and guys who bring an edge. Jair is that guy. Whether it's his aggressive play style, his vocal leadership, or his willingness to bet on himself with a short-term deal, this is the kind of personality that thrives